In today's video, I head off to the beach to join a seaweed foraging workshop. We gather all kinds of land and sea plants. We have a little feast on the sand. I take home a basket of seaweeds to make a fun seaweed sprinkle that has become a go-to to top pretty much any dish I've made ever since. And I hope you enjoy our little seaside adventure. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the noodle van. And excuse the noise, we've got a very important job on the go. Coffee is being made. I am at a teeny weeny little place called Port Wrinkle in Cornwall. It's not that far from Loo, probably about, I don't know, 10-15 minute drive. I am here because I'm going on a little foraging course today. I'm so excited. It's with a friend of mine called Joanna, who runs Incredible Edible, which is a local foraging school to kind of Plymouth and southeast Cornwall. She's absolutely gorgeous. I adore her. I haven't seen her for almost a year, I think, but today we are at the beach and we're going on a seaweed foraging course. So gosh, that's noisy. So I'm really excited. I've done foraging courses at the seaside before. I love eating seaweed, but you always learn more when you go out with an expert. Always, always, always. There will be some snippet today that blows my mind. I promise you that. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm so excited to be out. I haven't brought Sunny the dog because it's the weekend, it's Sunday, so Johnny's at home, and also I don't really want him staying in the van. He can't be that social with people and beaches and stuff, but he gets really shouty if people come near me, so I can't be doing with that. I just want to enjoy my little foraging trip. I want to make you guys a really pleasant video and not just have my attention on the dog all the time. So I'm going to sit and drink my little cup of coffee and then I'm going to get foraging. Oh, actually, let me show you something. I know you're fascinated with the whole painting thing. So I still haven't finished, but I painted the inside of this one orange, which I am digging. I'm loving that. So each cubby is going to be a different bright colour. I think that's so fun. Do you still hate it? You can be honest. I won't be upset. It's my van. I don't actually care what you lot think. I love it. I did not do these, for the record. This was the grumpy builder, and he didn't know the colour palette, so he's gone primary, and so we might have to redo them when he's not looking. Now I have lots of books on harvesting seaweed and eating seaweed and stuff. Mostly they're ID books. This one is actually a cookbook, and so I grabbed this off the shelf and was having a good old rummage through, and I found this seaweed sprinkle recipe. So I am hoping to recreate this. Hopefully we'll get some nori today, although I do have dried sheets of nori. Actually, this is nori. This is the stuff that you make sushi with. So if we don't find any nori today, I can crumble up one of these sheets. And it even says that in the recipe. But also dulse. So I'm really hoping that we find some dulse today so that I can take it home and dehydrate it. And then I can grind it up and make this recipe to keep in the van. But yeah, there we are. There's some really good recipes in here if you're interested. Highly recommend it. I'll leave a link to this book on Amazon down below if you want to go and check it out.
Different vegetable flavor, but in olden days, but they are really hydrating and so they look quite similar from the distance, but
So this is the beach at Port Wrinkle. Isn't it gorgeous? It's a south-facing beach with a rough sandy shore and plenty of rocky clusters where you'll find seaweed growing. There are three main categories of seaweeds. There's high, mid and low waterline plants. Generally speaking, but not always, the higher waterline seaweeds will be green, the midlines tend to be brown, and the deepest water plants are mostly red. Obviously, on a lower tide, you'll have access to a bigger variety of plants. So if you've never gathered seaweed before, then rule number one, never gather the stuff that's been washed up on the shore, as these plants are dead and you've no idea how long they've been hanging around for. Also avoid areas with sewage or outlet pipes, and especially after heavy rains. Sea plants don't have roots as such. They tend to grow from a stem that's attached to a rock. Now it's important to never rip the plant off the rock. Always take scissors or a knife with you and leave an inch or two of the stem so that the plant can regenerate and keep growing. Also, don't strip an area of plants. Instead, take the odd frond here and there and only take what you consume within a day or two. There are countless beasties that call this habitat home, and they depend on seaweeds for eating, hiding and hunting in. Finally, it's worth noting that here in the UK at least, we don't have any poisonous seaweeds. However, as with most things, some make better eating than others. So make sure you take an ID book with you or get yourself booked up with a professional forager like Joanna.
Thank you very much. Very welcome.
It smells amazing. Because the weather's been lovely and warm and dry here, I was able to dry all of the seaweed simply by laying it out on my kitchen counter next to a south-facing window. However, you can use a dehydrator or even pop it in an oven. Just pop the oven on the lowest setting and wedge the door open slightly to allow any steam to escape. And seaweed is ready to store or to use in the seaweed sprinkle that I showed you earlier in the book when the fronds snap cleanly. And the seaweed sprinkle is really lovely. So far I've tried it on eggs, on rice, and I've sprinkled it over a stir fry, which all were lovely. And it just feels a little bit extra knowing that you foraged it. It's a good feeling. Oh, and I didn't just stick to the nori and the dulse, so instead I threw in a little bit of everything that I'd gathered, and it tasted delicious. The leftover seaweed got used in another recipe that I published over on my blog this week. It's a seaweed and miso noodle recipe, and it's heavily inspired by the yummy lunch that Joanna cooked us on the beach. That's it for today, lovelies. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!